Well, I've lived in Las Vegas for more than 23 years, and I can tell you that this city is nothing like the image most people have in their heads. Forget the stereotype about the Strip, slot machines, and all-night partying. Living here full-time is a completely different experience with massive perks and a few realities that might make you think twice. Well, in this video, I am breaking down exactly what it's like to call Las Vegas home after all these years. Everything from the tax advantages that save residents thousands, to the desert heat that changes how you live 3 or 4 months out of the year, to the entertainment and community life that local residents actually enjoy. I'm also going to share the housing realities for retirees, healthcare access, and the most common reasons that people eventually leave. And honestly, after all of this time, even I'm considering a move. My wife has her eyes on Sun City Anthem in Henderson, and I'm kind of eyeing Lake Las Vegas. Hi, my name's Micah Bleecher, and I make videos about what it's like to live, downsize, and retire here in Las Vegas. So whether you're dreaming of retiring here or just curious about what day-to-day life is really like, let's start with the #1 reason that people move to Nevada, and that is the money you get to keep. And that brings us to talking point #1, no state income tax and very low property taxes. Now, just how do Nevada's tax policies compare to other popular retirement states? What is the average property tax rate compared to Arizona, California, or even Florida? Just how much can retirees actually save by moving to Nevada? Yes, it is true that Nevada has no state income tax. For retirees on fixed incomes or those with substantial retirement account distributions, this is huge. Property taxes are among the lowest in the nation, about 25% lower than the national average. Now, there's no inheritance tax, no estate tax, no franchise tax on business. And of course, your Social Security benefits are also not taxed. For a $500,000 home in Nevada, annual property taxes can average around $2,600. Now, the same home in California would cost you over $6,000 or more in property taxes alone. Now, sales tax here is a little bit higher, over 8%, to make up for the low property taxes and the no state income tax, of course. And vehicle registration fees are calculated based on value, and that can be higher than in some other states. But do the math. Unless you're buying a new car every year, you're still coming out way ahead. After 23 years of living here, I can confirm that the tax benefits are real and substantial. Now, I've helped many clients who have moved here from California, New York, and Illinois, and immediately saved $8,000 to $15,000 just on this one benefit alone. I've had some clients in the higher brackets that have actually saved hundreds of thousands of dollars on retirement distributions. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that the state would have taken from them otherwise. I've actually had clients whose financial advisors advised them to leave either Illinois or California, or their money's not going to last them for the rest of their life. They've had to make big decisions. For retirees especially, these tax savings mean that your nest egg stretches significantly further. Now, while your wallet might thank you for living in Las Vegas, your body might have some complaints about another famous feature about desert living. And that brings us to talking point #2, the reality of the desert heat. What's the difference between Las Vegas heat and the heat in humid areas of the country? How many months of the year is heat a significant factor? How do locals adapt to the extreme temperatures? Temperatures regularly exceed 105 degrees from June through the beginning of September. Last year, we had a record high day of 120, but normally it doesn't get past about 117 in the worst part of the summer. While it's a very different experience than humid heat, dry heat still can be very dangerous, and you need to stay hydrated. Heat-related adjustments are often necessary 3 or 4 months out of the year. Indoor and outdoor living patterns can shift dramatically by season. It's true, air conditioning is not a luxury in Las Vegas, it's a necessity. Electricity bills can triple during the summer months for some homes, especially with older air conditioners and without adequate insulation. Now, the heat can last into October, not the 100-degree days, of course, but it can be very warm into September and into October. Now, after 23 years, I've adjusted. I kind of like the heat, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When it's 115 degrees or so, that famous dry heat that people talk about, well, that just means you're in a convection oven instead of a steamer. It's kind of like opening up your oven door sometimes and getting a blast in the face. Now, the summer heat really does shape just about everything we do during the summer months. Your schedule completely flips in the summer. Outdoor activities happen before 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. or after 7 p.m. You plan your errands around not having to touch your car's steering wheel or sit on leather seats that can fry an egg. Now, retirees especially need to think about this because heat exhaustion can happen a bit more quickly than you think, especially when you're not used to it. What people don't realize until they live here is how heat can change your relationship with your house. Your electricity bill might triple in the summer. Now that is true for older homes with older air conditioners. I will say that newer homes with newer air conditioners probably don't experience that big of a swing. The average electricity bill here in Las Vegas is about $121 according to the power company. Now, in the heat of the summer, you might not enjoy that gorgeous backyard you just bought as much as you thought you would. In fact, we especially enjoy ours in the spring and in the fall. And in the fall, we do most of our outdoor activity in the backyard in those months. And it's important to remember that every outdoor excursion in the summer probably takes just a little bit of planning. Like if you go to the grocery store, you put in a cooler in your trunk so that the frozen foods don't melt. But here's what I've learned. Most people adapt better than they expect. I recently had clients in their 60s, and we spent all day looking at homes in the summer heat. Then we drove back to the clubhouse, and in the heat of the afternoon, they decided to take a walk back to the house just to see how long it would take to get from the clubhouse to their house. And it was no problem, even in the July heat. They just had their sun hats on and off they went. On the other hand, I have a friend that struggles with it a little bit more, who has a health condition, and she spends her time in the Pacific Northwest every summer. And so there are some people where the heat is just a little too much for. It's definitely something you want to test out in the summer before making a full commitment. While the heat here might test your patience, the entertainment options in Las Vegas will never leave you bored. In fact, they extend far beyond the Strip into the suburbs. There is literally nothing to do in Las Vegas. And that brings us to talking point number 3, entertainment beyond the Strip. So just what entertainment options exist for locals that tourists don't know about? How accessible are the world-class shows and performances for residents? Are there cultural venues beyond gambling and shows? Most locals rarely visit the Strip except for special occasions. Resident discounts are available for many shows and attractions. Now, this wasn't true when I moved here, but now we are a sports mecca. We have multiple professional sports teams. We have the Stanley Cup champion hockey team Golden Knights. We've got Las Vegas Raiders. We've got the ladies WNBA champions, the Aces. The Oakland Athletics are coming. They've knocked down the Tropicana and they're building a new stadium on the Strip. We have the Smith Center for Performing Arts, which features Broadway shows, Philharmonic Orchestra, and special entertainment events. There's even a little jazz cafe inside the Smith Center called Myron's. We've got well over 50 golf courses in and around Las Vegas, and there are numerous community events specifically designed for locals. And I can't do this section without mentioning the Sphere, which is revolutionizing entertainment experiences. Local casinos around town off the Strip generally offer better odds and perks for locals. One huge misconception about Las Vegas is that entertainment means the Strip, gambling, huge casino shows, and nothing else. And after living here more than 23 years, I can tell you that there's a whole universe of activities that locals enjoy that tourists never discover. My wife and I visit the Strip a few times a year for special occasions, and friends come in town, maybe a sporting event, maybe a show, but we are never lacking the things to do. Now, the dining off the Strip is incredible, and I always like to share one of my favorite places when I'm doing a video. Some of the best chefs in the world have gotten sick of the corporate world and have opened up their own places off the Strip, in strip centers, strip malls, whatever you want to call them. They're there. They're doing amazing culinary artistry off the Strip. It's fantastic to get that kind of food away from the Strip without that giant markup that they put on things over there. And what really enhances retirement life here is the outdoor recreation. Red Rock Canyon is just 20 minutes from my house with world-class hiking and rock climbing. And I know what you're saying, that, how many over 55ers do rock climbing? Not many, although I did just a few years ago rappel off of the top of Caesar's Palace for charity. I don't really do rock climbing over at Red Rock, that's for sure, but I love hiking there, and I see older people hiking at Red Rock all the time. There's 27 trails. Some of them are wheelchair accessible, some of them are very advanced, and it doesn't take much hiking at all to go back in there and see some 3,000-year-old petroglyphs. It's amazing. We have that right here in our city. Now, Mount Charleston offers skiing and snowboarding in the winter and approximately 20 degrees cooler temperatures in the summer. It's a great place to hike, and there are trails all over that area. I know people that are buying homes at the base of Lee Canyon in the Sunstone Master Plan community. That's one of the new Master Plan communities in town. because they like to snowboard. Even over 55 people snowboard sometimes. Now, Lake Mead is great for boating and fishing. It's only 30 to 45 minutes away, depending on what side of town you live on. And yes, we get special events too. I'm so excited about seeing The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. I keep talking about it, but I'm actually going to get some tickets and go see it. It's one of my favorite old movies. You remember when we were kids, we'd have to wait for it all year long. We didn't have DVDs or VHS or anything like that. We had 3 channels and we had to wait all year long for The Wizard of Oz to come on. And when I heard commercials advertising that it's coming, I would get so excited as a little kid. And I'm kind of getting that same excitement about seeing The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. They've taken AI and just reimagined that whole movie to take advantage of everything that the Sphere offers. And I've heard great reviews from people that have already seen it. Now, for retirees, this matters. Your friends and family are going to likely visit more often. I can almost guarantee it. I have clients that buy homes with extra bedrooms specifically because they know that they're going to have more friends come and visit them, and they want to make a nice place for them to stay when they come visit. And in addition to all the crazy big stuff you hear about, there are neighborhood events, there are cultural events, there are farmers markets, there are fairs, there are festivals, there are things going on in every neighborhood, there are events going on in parks, there are events being sponsored by the 55 plus communities, there are events being sponsored by the master plan communities, there are events at the private country clubs, there are literally events going on all over town. Now, all of the entertainment and activities make Las Vegas exciting. But surprisingly, it's the strong sense of community that really makes Las Vegas feel like home. And that brings us to talking point number 4. A city of transplants creates unique community. How does one describe the social atmosphere for newcomers? Is it easy to make friends as a retiree in Vegas? What types of social communities exist for older residents? Over 75% of the residents are transplants from somewhere else, and that creates an unusually welcoming environment for newcomers. Furthermore, the 55 plus communities offer built-in social networks and activities. Even the master plan communities here are designed to foster connection. Shared experiences as transplants creates fast bonding. We have a diverse population from all regions and backgrounds, and there are many social opportunities designed specifically for retirees. Clubs and hobby groups are abundant across the valley. Church and religious communities are strong and welcoming, even in so-called Sin City. I found that there are less entrenched social hierarchies here than I've experienced in older, more established cities. Las Vegas might be the easiest major city in America to make friends in. Why? Because almost everyone is from somewhere else. There really isn't an established social hierarchy that makes newcomers feel like outsiders. And this is especially valuable for retirees. In cities where people have multi-generation roots, breaking into social circles can be nearly impossible. Here, making new friends is almost built into the lifestyle. Some of the larger 55 plus communities like Sun City Anthem and Sun City Summerlin have hundreds of activities and clubs specifically designed to connect people with similar interests. Even outside of those communities, Las Vegas has a uniquely open social culture. People here are genuinely friendly and approachable. Maybe because we all know what it's like to be new here. Maybe it's the sunshine affecting everyone's mood. Whatever the reason, the sense of community is real. Now, I've worked with retirees who were genuinely concerned about leaving established friend groups to move here. Within months, they're telling me they have a busier social calendar than they've had in decades. Las Vegas really is a who-you-know kind of town, and people are open and generally want to be friends. While making friends here might be easier than expected, finding the perfect place to call home requires navigating some unique housing considerations. And that brings us to talking point number 5, the real estate realities for retirees. What housing options are most popular among retirees? How do 55 plus communities differ from each other? What neighborhood features matter most to retirees? Las Vegas has multiple 55 plus communities with different vibes and price points. And beyond 55 plus communities, you have country club living, high-rise condos, luxury condos, rural settings with large lots and room for RVs, classic cars, boats, and desert toys. Now, typical 55 plus homes can be as low as $350,000 and can go as high as $1 million, $1.5 or even $2 million in some cases. HOA fees vary significantly by community. I've seen them as low as about $100 in Solera and over $600 in Trilogy in Summerlin. However, many of the large lot communities that hold RVs and classic cars and other big toys like that have no HOA. Some of them don't have any homeowners association at all, so it varies, and we have a lot of options all over town. Security and walkability are premium considerations. Lock and leave features on a house are important for frequent travelers. After helping hundreds of retirees search for and find homes here in Las Vegas, one thing I've learned is that housing needs can change dramatically during retirement. What matters at 65 or 70 is completely different than what matters at 40. And that's why Las Vegas, with our growing demographic of 65 and older residents, has developed such incredible retirement-focused housing options. Now, Sun City Summerlin, one of my favorites and one of the places I'd consider moving to, is the largest and most established with over 7,800 homes. It has 3 golf courses, 4 clubhouses, and incredible amenities. It's centrally located near shopping and medical. In fact, it's sandwiched kind of between Mountain View Medical Center and Summerlin Hospital in that medical center. So you have those 2 options very nearby. And then you have Sun City Anthem in Henderson, which my wife loves. It's one of her favorites. She loves the clubhouse and the indoor track there. It offers stunning city and mountain views and has newer amenities, but it's a bit further away from the city center if that's what you're interested in. Now, if you're looking for a resort-style luxury, Del Webb at Lake Las Vegas offers lakeside living. For nature lovers, hikers, and shoppers, Heritage at Stonebridge puts you right in between Red Rock Canyon and downtown Summerlin. It's a really incredible location. You can find nice options, older options, around $350,000 in some communities. You can find new options right around $500,000 in other communities. There are some communities that offer some very affordable options, but I always tell my clients to focus a little bit less on the house and more on the lifestyle that it enables. Imagine how you're going to feel waking up every morning in this house. Do you travel frequently? Look for lock and leave features. Do you need medical facilities nearby? Well, then that's a consideration, and we need to consider that when we're house hunting. And that can narrow your options a little bit. Now, what surprises a lot of retirees is how their priorities shift within just a few years of retirement. That huge backyard that was so appealing when you moved in the future might become a burden. You all have seen my backyard. We see the day where it may become a physical burden to have, and that'll be the day that we really make that downsize happen. Finding the right home in the right community is crucial, but equally important is understanding the healthcare landscape that's going to support you throughout retirement. And that brings us to talking point number 6, healthcare access and quality. How would you rate the healthcare system in Las Vegas? Has healthcare improved over the 23 years that you've lived here? Are there enough providers for the growing retirement population? There have been significant healthcare improvements here in Las Vegas over the last 10 to 15 years. Major medical centers have popped up all over town, including Sunrise, Southern Hills, St. Rose, Centennial, Summerlin Hospital, Mountain View, Henderson Hospitals, and many, many more. There's the Cleveland Clinic, Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health. New UNLV schools of medicine are expanding specialist availability. Of course, healthcare quality can vary by facility and specialist, so I always recommend checking reviews online and getting referrals and recommendations. Many 55-plus communities are strategically located near medical facilities. Most people think Henderson and Summerlin offer the best medical access, but our best trauma center is UMC right in the middle of town, and our VA medical centers in the Northeast. So yeah, there's medical access and facilities all over the valley. Furthermore, concierge medical services are growing for retirees, and that's an option for many. And as I mentioned, we have a great VA medical system that's based in the northeast part of town, but has branches all over town, depending on what you're needing. The good news is that we have excellent medical facilities strategically placed throughout the valley. The challenging news is that we still do have shortages in some specialties. I always encourage my retirement clients to research medical options before selecting their favorite neighborhoods. Now, my wife and I have had a variety of medical issues over the last 23 years, and we feel like we've done pretty well with medical care here in Las Vegas. She's had probably over 30-something surgeries. I've had open heart surgery. We feel like we're being taken care of. That said, some people with highly specialized medical problems may need to seek help outside of Las Vegas in parts of Arizona or California or other parts of the country where certain specialists exist that don't exist here. For example, we don't have a Mayo Clinic. Many of my clients have been pleasantly surprised by the quality of care that they receive here, particularly in the newer medical facilities. Sometimes I do have to drive all the way to Henderson just for a medical appointment, but fortunately it's just not that big of a deal and it doesn't take that much time to get across town. Now, healthcare becomes even more more accessible when you know how to get around the valley efficiently, which brings us to another key consideration. And that brings us to talking point number 7, transportation and accessibility. Just how dependent are residents on cars versus public transportation? What is traffic like compared to other major cities? Are there transportation options available specifically for seniors? Las Vegas is a car-dependent city, but has relatively manageable traffic. The average commute time is 25 minutes or less, which is much better than other major cities. We have a strategic highway system that makes cross-town trips very efficient. Now, our public transportation is a bit limited, but we do have good bus lines and things are improving. Rideshare services are abundant and reasonably priced. Many of the 55-plus communities offer shuttle services to shopping and medical. Now, Las Vegas is built with a grid layout largely, so it's easy to get around town using the surface streets. You can pretty much start from the west and go all the way to the east, start at the north and go all the way to the south, all on surface streets. There are some limited senior transportation services available through county programs. Walking scores vary dramatically by neighborhood. And it's pretty interesting around town because self-driving vehicle testing has been underway by a number of different companies, and they're getting ready to implement those here in Las Vegas. You know, transportation is an aspect of retirement that often gets overlooked until it becomes a problem. And there are also county programs that provide senior transportation services for people that can no longer drive, although that is limited. If maintaining independence without driving, then location becomes very critical. Some areas like downtown Summerlin or parts of Henderson can offer higher walkability scores with essential services in reach. Now, I'm continuing to hear stories about upgrading the monorail system, the underground tunnels that they're building throughout town, connections to a Brightline train that's supposed to be coming in the future, and even future transportation systems like a train or something that will drive up and down Charleston Boulevard. Those are all just rumors at this point, but some of them will come true. In the future, there will be much more organized and much better public transportation. That's one of the predictions I have. In the future, there will be improvements in public transportation here in Las Vegas. I can pretty much promise you that. Now, getting around town is important, but so is having a clear understanding of the challenges that make Las Vegas less than ideal for some retirees. And that brings us to talking point number 8. Why people leave Las Vegas. What are the most common reasons retirees leave Las Vegas? How often do people move for family-related reasons? What health factors might prompt a move? The top 3 reasons that I see for leaving are assisted living needs, family caregiving, or sadly passing away. Proximity to adult children does become more important as we age. Heat and air quality can exacerbate certain medical problems. Some find the energy and the pace overwhelming after initially enjoying it. The forever home concept that we often hear about on HGTV rarely accounts for changing health needs. Community connections alone may not be enough to sustain through serious health conditions. Family may need to get involved. Limited public transportation can become a problem as persons age. Highly specialized medical needs might require relocation in some cases. Water restrictions and conservation issues concern some residents. Tiered water pricing in Las Vegas that punishes heavy users, but not in Henderson or North Las Vegas, is controversial. What I've learned over the years, and as I've gotten older, is that time becomes more valuable than money as we age. Many retirees often prioritize being close to family over amenities, weather, and tax benefits. It's just something that happens as we get older. Things change. Understanding this from the start leads to better long-term planning, whether that means choosing the community that offers a continuum of care or maintaining flexibility about future moves. It's something that I always remind my clients as we're looking for homes. You know, after living here in Las Vegas for more than 23 years and loving it and helping countless retirees find their ideal homes here, I am still convinced that there is no better place for your retirement years if you understand both the benefits and the challenges. Now, if you're considering a move here, I would love to share some more specific insights based on your personal situation. My contact information is in the description below. My name's Micah Bleecher, and I'm always here to help you find the perfect place to call home. In fact, you can Google me. I'm the only Micah Bleecher on the internet. I'm easy to find, and I can't hide from you. And if you're seriously considering a move to Las Vegas, don't choose an area unless you watch my next video. Las Vegas Best and Worst Suburbs Ranked. I walk you through the suburbs that deliver the lifestyle and the value you're looking for, and which ones might leave you disappointed. Click the video on your screen now, and I will see you over there. Peace out, love you friends, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. I love you.